Hello, 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 everyone. Welcome, welcome, welcome. It is Lindsay Schroeder, spiritual wellness, intuitive business, and mindset coach with Hour and R. And today we are kicking off day one of our 3-day shadow work mini challenge. So Jess and I are so excited to bring you this 3-day mini challenge. We are so excited about shadow work. Shadow work has really transformed both of our lives, both of our practices, and has been so supportive to share with clients that we were so called when we started talking and discussing this topic together on live streams that we knew we wanted to bring you guys more magic. So for those of you who are already signed up for our 3-day shadow work mini challenge, you guys know that today is day one. We're talking all about what shadow work is. Those of you who are not already signed up, after this live video, go to the link in my bio, sign up challenge. You will get replay access to this video. You will also get replay access to tomorrow's topic, which is conflict avoidance, as well as day 3, which is all about integration over alleviation. You will also get our support materials. You will get the details. That means times and locations for the next 2 live streams. So make sure that you are signed up. You will also get an extra special little something, which we're not telling you what that is yet, but it's going to be so amazing. So today we are talking about what shadow work is. So I want to start with the fact that shadow work is extremely important. It is often an area that is unrecognized or disowned by the self. So what I mean by that is that growing up, each of us start off as this beautiful, full, holistic expression of ourselves, that we believe that we are worthy and deserving and we are innately gifted and amazing. And when we want to eat, when we want to be cuddled, when we want to be taken care of, when we feel that we crave warmth, we just reach out and ask for it. We demand it, and we believe that we are worthy and deserving inherently. Then, through the process that is life in the human body and the human form on planet Earth, we start to realize and recognize that some of who we are and what we want and how we ask for it or demand it is rejected or not seen, not appreciated by others. So that might be one time when we're crying when we're little and a parent says to us, like, "Oh, you're such a crybaby." Or maybe we're, at a new event when we're really little and a parent says, "Oh, they're really shy." This is showing and expressing to us that a part of ourselves is not as worthy, not as deserving to those pieces and reintegrating them, re-owning them, processing our childhood, looking at these different aspects and doing some work around it so that we can live in a more full, in a more vivacious, in a more realized and recognized way. So the shadow is the unrealized, the unrecognized, the disowned, the shunned self, the aspects of the self that we refuse to claim, that we refuse to reflect on, the areas that are scary and overwhelming to acknowledge. So when we repress these aspects, they become part of our unconscious. They often become persistent and they show up in the most random, or so we might see it as random, of ways. They become things that we might identify as triggers. They might be emotional pitfalls, things that we can't handle in the easiest of ways. So the bottom line that I am touching on here is that in our world, there is a lot of right and wrong, a lot of what we in society have defined as right and wrong, or good and bad. Shadow work allows us to access our whole selves and integrate as a whole self, starting to recognize, realize, and process that there are 2 sides to every coin, that we cannot eliminate our shadows, that we cannot eliminate the things that would be easier to disown or the shunned self, that it calls upon us to bring these pieces together. So as we learned and developed and explored who we were and started to realize that, ooh, this part of me, so-and-so might not recognize that, or maybe mom doesn't like that, or dad doesn't respond well to that, or my brother and sister, ostracize me when I express that of myself. Shadow work allows us to come back and integrate something that may have been taught or programmed in us that it's bad or it's not worthy. Our shadow is an important part of us. And Jess and I both deeply believe that shadow work is all about integration over alleviation. We cannot alleviate our ego. We cannot alleviate our shadow. We are here to integrate it, to understand it, to tap into this beautiful worthiness and deservingness in all phases. So, shadow work for me personally has really helped me to shift from survival mode into thriving mode. And that has changed my mind, my body, and my soul. What I mean by that is that when I shifted consciously, intentionally through shadow work, through personal practice, through spiritual development, from survival, especially in my body, survival is a biological function. When we have cortisol pumping through our body, when we're firing our adrenals, when we're dropping into fight or flight, this is taking a toll on the physical vessel. So shadow work has allowed me to purge cortisol from my body, to shift from survival to a thriving mode. And when I'm thriving, I'm not stuck in my lower chakras. I'm able to elevate through my heart space into my upper chakras, connect with my intuitive gifts and abilities, and access so much more. So throughout this 3-day mini challenge, Jess and I are really here to support you in owning those things that we might have deemed as flaws or weaknesses. Maybe something that we've seen as selfishness or nastiness, something that maybe we've seen in someone else that we judge or disown or separate ourselves from, that really is a reflection of us seeing that as ourselves. Shadow work helps me to address my whole self, to heal and activate levels of self-growth that I was never able to get to without shadow work, through surrender, through acceptance. Instead of attacking or fighting or repressing what we don't want to be thinking or feeling or even expressing, showing up and offering compassion for myself and reflecting in that space has been a profound practice. So we are here to help you guys dip your toe in the water of shadow work in a safe, in a contained, in a healthy way. So again, I want to talk a little bit further into this. Shadow work often supports us at looking at our past. So, which helps us create healthier relationships with ourselves and others in the present moment. So if you have ever, and if you've seen our posts on this is going to ring true for you. It might be a little triggering right now. So stick with me, take some deep breaths, place your hand on your heart space. If you have ever gotten annoyed or upset or felt personally attacked by someone for their behavior, maybe something they said or did to you, this could be the shadow coming out to play. We frequently feel attacked, personally hurt, or internalize things. We so often make up stories around what something means or what someone meant by something that they did because of an aspect of our shadow that is unrecognized and disowned. One of my personal favorite byproducts of shadow work is the ability to handle my feelings in a healthy and mature way. For me, that means really coming out of difficult situations, trauma, drama, stress, anxiety, those things that trigger my survival mode, feeling like I handled it in a way that I align with. That means that outside of the emotion, I'm able to go, that's what I would have wanted to say. That's what I would have wanted to do. That's how I chose to handle it versus letting or feeling like my emotions got the best of me. That is one of my favorite aspects of shadow work. And I know that that is something that Jessica really feels aligned with as well. That instead of just reacting, we're able to take a breath, hold our space, sit into and connect with ourselves and go, this is my choice. This is how I choose to interact with this situation. This is how I choose to process my feelings. This is the time that I need to sit and reflect with myself before I move into this space. Another aspect of shadow work that I personally feel so good about is in reference to my childhood. I used to look back and reflect on my childhood and get angry or upset, feel taken advantage of, feel unworthy, undeserving, feel jealous of other people and their situations. Through shadow work, I have been able to integrate, reflect, and reclaim so many disowned parts of myself and give myself such grace and such understanding and such acceptance when it comes to the fact that I was a child in these situations, and holding myself to this adult's healer version of my perceptions and understandings and ability to navigate is unsupportive of my inner child. I love, love, love that aspect of shadow work. Also, if you would describe your childhood as anything other than healthy and happy, and like, let's be real, that's so many of us, shadow work is a profound and powerful practice here to support you in that specific space. So in our society, once again, I want to talk about this because it's so important. We are often taught that to be worthy, we must do something specific. We must be something specific. We must have a certain thing. We must look a certain way. We must have this job or have this amount of money or trade this time for our career or this or that. In doing shadow work, in witnessing ourselves as the whole beautiful being that we are, both the light, both the dark, we are able to sit fully in our worthiness. Worthiness that is inherent rather than conditional, rather than earned or achieved. Shadow work allows us to open the doors on unconditional love and acceptance for the self. That's a game changer, guys. Shadow work. It is pretty amazing, right? So I want to remind you guys that if you are not already signed up after this live, go to the link in my bio and sign up for mine and Jess's 3-day shadow work mini challenge. We're going to get to the challenge part in just a little bit so that you guys get access to these replays, to the support materials, to all the information and follow-ups, to the extra special little thing that we're going to be dropping in just a little bit. You guys also don't want to miss the details that you get for part 2 and part 3. So Jessica is going to be doing part 2, which is all about conflict avoidance. Guys, you do not want to miss this. It is all about how avoiding conflict or pulling back into yourself and shying away from standing up for yourself can be a window, a door, a pathway into your own shadow work. She is really going to support you in looking at your natural tendencies to avoid conflict and people please as a space for deep lesson and deep integrative work. Can't wait for it. Then part 3, we're going to be hosting together, and this is all about integration over alleviation, something that we both wholeheartedly believe in, that there is no alleviation of the shadow. There is no alleviation of the ego. Guys, we are humans. Ego is an important part. Shadow is an important part of who we are. And when we get to sit and sink into our fullness and recognize this, integrate this, do this work with this magic, we are able to unlock and achieve deeper transmutation, higher levels of healing and alchemization. So we are so stoked to bring part 2, conflict avoidance, and part 3, integration over alleviation. If you guys want to know where you guys can check these out, what time, all the details, you need to use the link in my bio to sign up for our shadow work mini challenge. Now, for the challenge parts, I encourage you No, I challenge you to sit with yourself, to create some space, create some stillness, and ask yourself these questions. So if you are here with me live right now, if you are in a space and in a place where you can close your eyes, take a deep breath, sink into the body, I really encourage you to do this. I'm going to read you these questions. If you are signed up, you will also get a journal prompt PDF so that you can read into them, see them, be supported by them, and reflect on them, not only for this challenge, but deep into the future. I also encourage you to tag Jess and I in your stories, in your posts that reflect on the shadow work practice and these journal prompts. So again, those of you who are here with me live, let's close our eyes. Let's elongate that spine. Let's take a deep breath in. If you want to place a hand on the body, if you want to drop into the balls of your feet, breathe in deeply and hear my voice as your own as I go through these questions. What does shadow work mean to you and for you? Taking a deep breath in, filling yourself, allowing yourself to explore. What does shadow work mean to you? What does shadow work look like or sound like or feel like for you? Letting that sit and settle. What aspects do you associate with the shadow? And do you personally identify with these aspects? There are so many of us who associate certain things with the shadow, but don't feel like we participate in those things. Breathing in again, allowing this question to sit with you, providing yourself some space, a place, maybe a journal, maybe an open Google Doc to reflect on this. What aspects do you associate with the shadow? And do you see those and honor those in yourself? Number 3, does the idea of my shadow self create fear or discomfort in myself? When you recognize the shadow, when you consider what that means to have a shadow and that be part of your wholeness, does that bring up fear or discomfort for you? And number 4, my favorite, what would it look and what would it is a very important part of this question. What would it look like or feel like if I integrated my shadow? The reason that we use what would it look like or what would it feel like is because this is a brain hack. When we ask the brain a yes or no question, it gives the brain the option of, nope, there's not an answer, bypass. When we say, what would it look like or what would it feel like, it automatically tells the brain there is an answer, there is a solution, there is something that I can provide for that. When we give the brain a task, it does its best work. So set the brain to this task. What would it look like? What would it feel like? Help me uncover, help me understand, help me identify. Now, just a reminder, if you have signed up for this 3-day mini challenge, you will get all of these questions in a beautiful journal prompt for you to reflect on today and deep into the future. I would love for you guys to tag R&R and Jessica Marie Stepp in your stories, in your feed posts, if you guys are reflecting on these shadow work journal prompts. If you guys have questions, if you've got topics that you want to dive into, if you are interested in deeper shadow work, leave me a comment on this video, shoot me a DM. Jessica and I are so excited to be offering you guys this 3-day mini challenge, and there's even more magic to come. So make sure that you guys use the link in my bio, sign up for a 3-day mini challenge so that you get replay access, the journal prompts, additional support materials, as well as the schedule so that you know when part 2 and part 3 will be going live. Thank you guys so much, and happy and safe shadow work.